Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So do you guys remember it was all the way back in February, I believe it was, that there was an article that came out from the UK saying that a fairly major authority was, or medical institution was saying that the idea that trans women, biological men, are able to, I'm going to call it chest feed, but for the article's sake, they call it breastfeeding, which is a massive insult to women everywhere because men cannot breastfeed. But alas, they were saying that men that claim to be trans are able to breastfeed a baby, and it's equally the same as a woman breastfeeding, and the quality of milk, which for a man, it's not milk, it's just chemicals protruding out to look like it's a liquid of some description of absolute horrors, and no child should ever be ingesting any of that. But nevertheless, this body that actually said it, trying to be all, inclusive and trying to be smart. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They've been accused of spreading misinformation. I was saying it from the very beginning. They're spreading misinformation and disinformation. This is actually real examples of misinformation, disinformation, saying that it's healthy and safe for a biological man to breastfeed. It's actually chest feed, and they actually use it on their website, believe it or not. I checked. They've got an entire section. You can look at it yourself. NHS chest feeding, not breastfeeding, but chest feeding. Also, they're using the ideological language of chest feeding instead of saying breastfeeding to include the likes of trans individuals. I'm saying chest feeding because men can't, they don't have breasts. They have chests, they have pectoral muscles, and they cannot do what a woman does, and that is breastfeed a child. They cannot produce milk, although the Newman-Goldfarb method, which was designed for women that can't lactate, this method was not designed for men, although it can be used for men, involving a lot of hormones and a lot of drugs that, again, shouldn't be injected into a poor innocent child. So the NHS trust that spread misinformation with claims that trans women could breastfeed as well as new mothers makes a U-turn under pressure. So after all, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We all knew it, but they didn't, because it would admit hate and discrimination and all that nonsense. Actually ridiculous. Like when you're talking about real medical stuff and science and protection of an innocent life, nah, we can't do that. You know what we're going to do? We're going to say that it's good and then realize later on that we fucked up big time, like that. And then we'll just say, we'll put a retraction in later on and say, oh, no, it's all good. They can't breastfeed after all. And they can't even chest feed either. They can't do none of that. And it's not good. In the UK, the National Health Authority had claimed that trans women could breastfeed and the milk was comparable to real breast milk. What a massive slap in the face to real women everywhere. However, the authority has now reversed its stance. How about that? This is after outrage from campaigners. Damn well right. A leaked letter this year from the medical director of University Hospital Sussex NHS Foundation Trust has suggested that milk produced by trans women, it's not milk, by the way, who are born male with the help of powerful drugs. So do women need the help of powerful drugs to be able to breastfeed when they've got a baby growing inside of them? I don't really think so. Was comparable to that produced by women following the birth of a baby. The letter was a response to complaints about guidelines drawn up by the trust, which advise that trans women may be able to induce lactation. But amid mounting pressure to review the controversial policies, the trust now insists its guidance was never intended to encourage trans women to chest feed. Okay, we're including the word chest feeding now because we've got to have the inclusive language here for can't upset the trans people. Officials at the trust say the guidelines were aimed at helping a small number of lesbian women who may want to breastfeed to support their female partners who give birth. It said the trust is not aware of any instances where trans women, biological men, have expressed a wish to be helped to feed their partner's child. How about nominal Naomi, and how about the other dingbat? I forgot the person's name, but there's quite a few. And there's probably more that we don't actually know about, believe it or not. But last night, Helen Joyce, the campaign group Sex Matters, said it was disturbing that it had taken the trust so long to reveal that staff at UH Sussex do, in fact, know that men can't breastfeed. Helen Joyce, obviously, being a major part in me doing what I'm doing, by the way. She was the first person I heard talk about this nonsense on Jordan Peterson's podcast. I had her on my show, and that's when all things changed, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not. Millie Hill, a campaigner for women's rights, said the false information puts babies at risk. Damn well right it does. The row began last year after guidance created by the trust, and since deleted, said some parents may wish to participate in feeding their infants using their own bodies, even if they did not give birth. It said that trans women may also be able to induce lactation to some extent, but critics say there is very little robust evidence about the quality or safety of such, well, liquid. I'm not going to call it milk. It's anything but that. The trust also referenced a study which found produced by induced lactation had no observable side effects in babies, but now it appears it no longer stands by the claims. Well, we're happy to make the claims initially, but we're going to issue a retraction because we don't officially know that it's not going to harm babies. Emma Thomas, founder of Children of Transitioners, which supports people whose parents change gender and which initially complained about the guidance, said, "We have no idea how many COT babies worldwide have been harmed as a result of this." It's actual madness, man. Like, men, they can't get pregnant. We know that. That's actual reality. And they can't breastfeed because they don't have the ability to induce lactation on their own because they can't get pregnant. And if they're going to induce any sort of lactation, it is with the help of, as the article said, powerful drugs. And that's probably like not a good idea. If you need to induce lactation with powerful drugs, hormones, and chemicals, you shouldn't be feeding that to an innocent child or a baby, man. They need certain things in order for the child to grow and be healthy. Just saying. A little bit of common sense does go a long way, doesn't it? Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.